Hello everyone, and thank you very much for joining me, whether you're watching live at 11 a.m. on Sunday morning or you're watching it a little bit later on Sunday, Monday, maybe even Tuesday. I appreciate you joining me, and I appreciate the support. This is the show where the Hammers Chat subscribers are in charge to some extent. I control the buttons, but the live chat's open. Please get your thoughts into West Ham, but in particular about yesterday's game against Bournemouth. Get into the live chat. We're going to get your comments up on the screen here. And if you're watching it later on, please do get involved in the comments section. I'm feeling okay today, actually. I think yesterday, during the second half, I was really frustrated, and I was getting more and more frustrated. And by the time the full-time whistle went, I was a bit disappointed that we dropped 2 points, because that's how I see it. But also happy that we got a point, because the sun's come out. I'm glowing now. Look at that. Atypical. It's not been sunny all week. I sit down, go live, and look what happens. Let me see if that makes a difference. There you go. So anyway, I think both things are true. I think, for me anyway, I think it's 2 points dropped, but it's also a point gained in a weird way. If you offered me a point before the game, I would have taken it. I am happy with the draw away to Bournemouth, but we were 2-0 up at half time, and I think it's the manner of the second half. That's where my disappointment lays. Sorry, everyone. Let's maybe if I shuffle closer and hide, if that helps. But today I'm okay. 7 points from 3 games, beating Newcastle, beating Burnley, drawing away to Bournemouth. It's a good set of results, really. And I'm looking forward to. We play Liverpool at the weekend, and albeit it's due to Liverpool's form as much as West Ham's form, but I'm looking forward to playing them next weekend, which is not something I've said for a little while, and I believe that we can get something, possibly even a win, which, again, it's been quite some time since I felt like that before we go play Liverpool. But I'm trying to look at a bigger picture. However, I appreciate today's video might be about yesterday's game, so please get your thoughts into the live chat, and let's get your comments up on the screen and see what you're all saying. Beaton saying Nuno's selection, tactics and training put us 2 goals up against one of the best teams in the league and eventually got us a precious point. I wouldn't say there was a net cost. Guy thinks Kante should have started instead of Guilherme. Tony saying Areola was man of the match by a long way. And Steve saying now he's calmed down a little bit. I can see that 7 points from 3 games is better than expected. I certainly feel better this morning than I did after the Leeds defeat. Think we've seen the last of Guilherme, though. He looked lightweight and out of his depth, unfortunately. Joel said he would have chewed your hand off for a draw before the game. Going 2-0 up was great, but we were all surprised. Let's hope we can pull out a result against Liverpool like Forrest did yesterday. Adrian says, just as with the Souček and Irving, paid in the subs and playing defensively for 40 minutes was clearly never going to work. Believe with a point, but more questions over Nuno. The one thing I will say is I've been reading / listening to a little bit of what Nuno had to say after the game, because I was intrigued as to if he was happy or if he was a bit disappointed and what he thought happened and stuff. And he took accountability by saying that, he posed as a question, but I felt like it was him admitting it, where he said maybe he made the sub too soon and that he wanted a different presence up front. And I think that's the problem, though. When we took Wilson off, we didn't have one up front. So when he said he wanted a different presence, I thought, well, Souček didn't go play on the centre-back's toes or anything. He basically became an attacking midfielder. He dropped in front of Fernandes and Potts, but he was very much facing the play for the entire time he was on the pitch. So I was pleased to see sort of Nuno take account to some extent. And I think he's going to learn that maybe you can't do this at West Ham, at Nottingham Forest. What I will say this. Had his Nottingham Forest team last season done that in the second half, I think they win the game. I think Nottingham Forest win that game yesterday last season from 2-0 up at half-time. I think they see that out in the second half, because they would be defensively solid, because he could rely on Murillo and Milankovic. He could rely on Aina and Williams to keep Bournemouth out, because they were good defensively last season. He had good defenders. That's a significant difference, first of all. And second, at Nottingham Forest, he would have had Hudson-Odoi and Alanga counter-attacking, Wood up front, and if he made changes, he'd have brought on Jota Silva, who isn't the best player in the world, but it would have still gave them a threat. And that's something we didn't have. That sub at half-time taking Guilherme off, who I don't think was great. I don't think he was awful, but he went off and Walker Peters come on, who I thought was bad. We had nothing, absolutely nothing going forward in the second half. So what I will concede and give sort of Nuno a little bit of sympathy for, which is this squad is just not up to what he requires. Sorry I'm gloating, everyone. You're just going to have to put up with it. There you go. Anyway, Mark said, as much as we criticise Nuno for the second half, we must also praise him for the first half. The lack of depth in our squad was exposed again, and I blame past managers and Sullivan. Martin Ayer saying 28 shots, 10 on target, world-class saves. Still think we were lucky to get a point. Kilman cost us with sloppy, reckless defending. Ben's getting in early. It was a good result and an important point. We must keep the form up. Jonathan said, I don't care if Nuno's a nice guy. He cost us again. It's his job to get results and supporters on side. Well, you screwed up on that. Dreading our next game. What a clown. Paul said, I don't get some fans under previous managers. That would have been a thrashing. Nuno's tactics has given us 7 points in 3 games. Well, we haven't lost our last 8 games to Bournemouth, so I think that's your claim, I think, is statistically false, to be honest. Nuno's tactics has given us 7 points in 3 games. Yeah, that's also just that part is factual. Graham saying, before the game, I'd have been happy at a point, but in the context, it feels like 2 very important points dropped. Not happy seeing us shut up shop early. I'm completely in agreement with Graham. Ryan completely agrees with Graham as well. I think there's 2 arguments. You can be happy and annoyed because it feels like we could have got the 3 points. Again, I completely agree. Roddy saying 7 points from 3, and since 5 p.m. yesterday, I'm seeing 95% negativity. We're turning it around, get behind the manager and team. I think you can be disappointed and behind the manager and the team. I'm behind Nuno. I've never said anything about not wanting Nuno or anything. Quite the opposite. I've maintained he's the right man for where we are today. But I'm still disappointed we dropped 2 points. I don't think it's exclusive. I don't think if you're disappointed yesterday, it doesn't mean you are not behind Nuno. I think that's quite harsh and unfair on fans, personally. James saying 100% is 2 points dropped. People who say it isn't, ignore the context of the game and focus on the team we played. If we go down, I'm looking at this, Leeds and Brentford as key reasons. I wouldn't look at yesterday's one. I think I'd look at Brentford and Leeds, certainly, but maybe not yesterday. Clem said the 2 points shouldn't be taken lightly. It's Fulham, Newcastle, and Nottingham Forest one. Depends on who you see as relegation rivals. I don't see Newcastle as one. Fulham could be and Forest could be, but I don't see Newcastle. The thing is, I think, Forest obviously had a difficult game. Fulham beat Sunderland at home, which, given Sunderland's start to the season, it's impressive. But Sunderland at home, Bournemouth away, I would argue we maybe had a more difficult fixture at the 2. Steve saying, not winning yesterday is all down to Nuno. End of. All this 3 undefeated doesn't wash with him. Imagine we get relegated by 2 points. We will all remember this game come May. Chris saying, what's going on with Nuno? He's proving he's a good tactical manager, yet he has made some very bad starting lineups and strange subs. Why? I think if he had better players yesterday, I think we would have won the game. I think tactics might have worked in the second half. I don't like it, by the way. I don't like playing that way in the second half. But if we had Somerville yesterday in the second half, we'd maintain a threat. If we had better centre-backs, we might have seen Bournemouth out. I don't know if my auntie had Watsits and all that. Roddy saying going 2-0 up against Bournemouth at their place was all about Nuno. Don't just dwell on the negatives. Tanner saying, I was right. The referee wasn't too bad through the game and actually helped us by not sending Kilman off. I haven't seen a replay of that Senesi tackle on Bowen. It looked a bit naughty. Steve agrees with comments regarding the second half of Nuno's subs, but I'm sick of watching Kilman's mistakes. He's weak, poor in there, and lacks awareness. Don't want to see him start. Hopefully Mavropanos will be fit for the Liverpool game. Bale said it's 2 points dropped, surrendered the game. Ryan saying, how's the moves going? Not fun. I'm fed up, to be honest with you. I'm fed up of it now. I just want it done. I got another week. This time next week, things will be better. The next week coming up is going to be tricky though. I've turned the boiler off in this house, so I've got no hot water, so I'm not being able to have a shower yet. So I need to save money, just like thousands of families up and down the country. Things are not looking fun at the minute, but come February time, hopefully it'll all be worth it. Short-term pain, long-term gain. I appreciate you asking, Ryan, but not great is the answer. James saying, drawing the game wasn't a Nuno masterclass. It was pure luck and outstanding from Areola. Massive said Nuno's made crap subs for a few weeks now. Is this something we should be worried about? Or is it because he doesn't have what he wants? A little bit of both. I think you could be a bit cautious, maybe a little bit suspicious, but I definitely think his subs available aren't great, are they? Rob saying Bournemouth is a well-established team and a better team than us at this point. To hang on shows that we're much harder to beat, and I'm pleased with the result. Barry was at work yesterday, didn't get to see the game, but seen us 2-0 up and finished 2-2. It was heartbreaking. Kilman and Souček to see the game off. Hammers was at the game. When Souček came on, he looked like someone's dad pulled from the crowd. Obsidian saying you're missing the context. Rory, 7 from 9 sounds good, but it's also 7 from 15. His mistakes cost us against Brentford and Leeds. That's also fair. Statistics can tell you whatever story you want it to tell, can't you? You can be selective and pick the last 3, or you can do what Obsidian's doing and pick the last 5, and it tells different stories, doesn't it? Transy saying, confirm what we already know, the massive lack of depth in squad. Lose a couple of players and we're stuffed. Got to get to January with as little damage as possible. Has anyone seen an update on Somerville? I haven't seen one yet, and that's something I'm a little bit concerned about, because certainly could have done with him yesterday. Bill said his tactics worked. Then he sat on it for a whole half of football, expecting us to be able to successfully defend that with Kilman and Wan-Bissaka. Walker-Peters should have come on and switched with Juve, but didn't. Steve's praying for Villa win today, and that's been desperate. I'm praying for a Villa win as well. Hopefully they can get a result at Ellen Road. Model said he's skeptical about the Liverpool game. On one hand, there's an opportunity to get a result, but for West Ham and me feels it would be typical for Liverpool to get back on track against us. Mark is saying, Gio, rubbish. Nuno's been here long enough to know what he has in the squad. Playing Souček up front was one of the worst decisions. I'm unsure what we're disagreeing about. I've criticized that sub. I don't know what you're saying is rubbish, though, when we're saying the same thing. Well, it's not the worst decisions I've seen from a Premier League manager. It's not that bad. But in regards to not being happy with the substitution, I don't understand. Steve saying Paqueta back next week. Hopefully Somerville too would make a big difference. Johnny says, hope the move is going well. Referring back to the game and moving forward, I think we need more of an outlet like we have with Antonio. Yeah, I completely agree. I think when he messed up bringing Souček on. I think he tried to rectify it by bringing Fulkrug on, and it didn't work. Fulkrug just came on and just did absolutely nothing at all. But I think when he's trying to do that sub to put Fulkrug on, I think he's then trying to fix what he's already done, and then he's bringing Fernandes off, dropping Souček back, and then that pair in Souček and Potts didn't work at all. I thought Potts was tired, but Souček was poor in midfield, as well as that false number 9 position, or whatever you want to call it. Latte saying, if fans are completely done with Nuno, then need a reality check. What do you want? Our fourth manager in a year, his tactics failed, but he also got a crap squad to work with. I haven't seen too many people say that. I've seen 1 or 2, but I've seen 1 or 2 people that were done with Nuno before he'd had a game in charge. They just didn't want him, but I haven't seen too many people go that far. But it depends on what you read and where you read stuff, etc. Guy is saying, livid. Nuno doing that yesterday. Even Wilson was wondering what the hell he was doing. Also, when he was giving it large in first half, saying it smells like 3 points, it was fun. I mean, giving it large isn't having fun. It's 2 different things, Gary, right? I'm not going to apologise for having a laugh that we were winning away to Bournemouth. And you know what? If we're winning against Liverpool on the weekend, I'm going to do the same thing again, right? We're winning a game of football. It's fun. Bloody hell. All right, from now on, no one's allowed to make a joke. No one's allowed to be fun. Gary said so. Jonas says we're limited with squad choices. Also, we need to remind ourselves that most did expect the Cherries to win. With a better squad overall, would have looked differently. I don't disagree with that one. You could say that he should play the cards he's got and therefore not do what he did yesterday. We'll see. We'll find out if he's learned from his mistakes, because at some point we will be winning in a game like Bournemouth, and it's a case of what you're going to do. It worked, like I said, it worked for Nottingham Forest last season for reasons that cannot be applied at West Ham currently. John says more the manner we played and tactical changes Nuno made. Had the gaps in their high press been identified, we'd have had another midfielder and gone into a back four with a double pivot. I don't disagree with that at all. Dog said Guilherme should have played the full 90 minutes and he should have talked to him and told him what was expected. And as everyone but Nuno knows, the best defense is attack. Brian said, I support Nuno, but that is now 3 rather big mistakes he's made. It's cost us 7 points. Leeds, Burnley in second half yesterday. Burnley, Brentford, Leeds. I'm assuming Brian means Brentford. Leeds, Brentford, and yesterday. Technically, it's 8 points as well, Brian. Carl saying, yesterday shows what happens when we lose our shape. No striker late on and not good enough defence midfield. Potts with McGaster would have been more robust. Yeah, I think when Souček was on the pitch and he knew he needed to change it again, I think he had a problem. I think this is where I think the right thing to do would have been to possibly take Souček back off. But that would have been ballsy to sub a sub after about 10 minutes to say, look, Thomas, I've messed it up. I need you to come off because I'm putting Fulkrug on up front. I'm going to put Magassa on for Fernandes in midfield, or I'm going to put Magassa on for Igor and block the midfield because they were having far too much space in front of our midfield. They just couldn't really cope. But I think as the minute Souček was on the pitch, he was a problem and he continued to be a problem. The problem just got moved into midfield, that's all. But it was still an issue, in my opinion. John saying, can we do a show about SCR? Yes. Yes, we can. Not quite sure why West Ham voted for it. It doesn't make too much difference to West Ham. I'm happy to explain it as much as I can and in as much detail as I can, but I don't think it'll alter things too much for us. I think the reason we voted for it, being West Ham, is I think we've got more turnover than a lot of other clubs in the Premier League. And that's what's based off. It's based off of turnover. And our wage bill isn't that high in comparison to other Premier League teams. Like Aston Villa's wage bill is like 90-something% of turnover. It's something ridiculous anyway. But ours is actually lingering around the 70% mark. We'll know more when their accounts come out in December. But 70% is deemed to be like a healthy number for your wages, where you're not spending too much, but you're also not spending too little, so you're getting most out of what you can afford. So I think we're in a good position, but it means clubs like Bournemouth and Brentford, they're under the pressure a little bit because they kind of need to raise their turnover. Now, Bournemouth are okay because of player sales, but I guess why we're voting for it is maybe that just income-wise, turnover-wise, we're quite a rich club in that sense. The only problem is we just piss it up the wall. Dog say Kilman was okay in the first half, but having 10 men in the penalty box means the players lack personal responsibility. I like that one. I like that, what you just said there. Marky saying when I said rubbish, I meant Nuno. Oh, right. He was there and found astonishing the substitutions made. They weren't great. To be fair, I think even the Walker-Peters one, this might feel a bit harsh for Guilherme. I don't think Guilherme was like incredible or anything, but I don't think he was terrible. I know some people thought he was, and that's fine. But I thought he was ineffective. I thought he was holding his position well off the ball. I thought he was doing everything that could be expected of him. And Walker-Peters come on, and I've seen very little, but I think Walker-Peters was just as bad as Guilherme, like if not worse. I thought Walker-Peters. The difference is, Guilherme can, well, I certainly do, give him a bit of a pass in the sense that he's a young, inexperienced player that's barely played any football this season. But Walker-Peters isn't that. Well, Walker-Peters is a very experienced Premier League player. So I expect more from him. My standards from him are higher than Guilherme. But I thought he was terrible, albeit the context of the game, all he did was chase shadows and boot the ball away. Gary, thank you for the £5 super chat. Said, I was worried, but I also knew it was just a bit of fun. Oh, no, it was just a bit of fun. I don't mind taking the piss. It doesn't bother me. Morg said the commentary kept mentioning weather. All 4 goals went in the same net. Let's not underestimate. I mean, yeah, true, but one of the goals was a penalty. Let's not underestimate the wind and rain the players were playing against. It was difficult, but I personally, I think you're being kind, Morg, personally. Not saying it's valid criticism, and I agree he's made his mistakes. I'm just hoping now he's learned from them. I hope he doesn't do a Moyes against Liverpool. That's the thing, isn't it? Like, that's what I said, because we will have another game, whether it's Liverpool, whether it's Aston Villa, where we'll take the lead at halftime, might be winning 1-0. And then we'll see what he does. And if he does the same thing again, which is we come out and defend, and we throw on, make the wrong substitution, then you will say he hasn't learned. But like I said, I still think, I could be wrong. I don't know, right? I don't know. But like I said, I do think last season's Nottingham Forest see that game out yesterday. And WHUFC said if there's any game that proves Adama Traore would be a decent signing, yesterday was it. He would have pushed them 15, 20 yards back. Stop. Yeah, that's fair. John says when Nuno gets it wrong, it borders on ridiculous. Bournemouth second half, Brentford and Leeds are suicide tactics. Nuno's mistakes are glaring. He still concerns me. He's not the perfect manager. Billo said Kyle Walker-Peters just kind of hovered around, lost on the wing, doing nothing. Why was Juve not pushed forward? I don't know. It would have made a difference as well, having that pace, having that direct runner, someone that's willing to dribble. Because in the first half, Juve was getting forward as much as he could down that side. But in the second half, I barely seen him get out of like our third of the pitch. So he was completely shackled in the second half. I agree with Bill there, which is at least swap him. At least put Walker-Peters as a fullback and move you forward, so we have someone that can actually dribble with the ball, someone that has a little bit of pace about him. And Todd saying Somerville's a big loss. He carries us up the pitch. Yeah, I completely agree, and that's why I think a winger would be as someone said about Traore. It makes sense, right? You might not like Traore. I don't like Traore, but having a winger that does have that pace and power would have been useful yesterday. He just didn't have it on the bench, did he? We only got 3. 2 of them started. One of them was injured. Dog saying Forest didn't stop attacking. You might have missed the start of the show, Dog, but you'll have to go back and watch it. But I mentioned that as well. Anyway, I'm going to love you and leave you. I'm going to keep this one short and sweet just because of everything going on in my life at the minute. But I just want to say a massive thank you to everyone for joining me. I appreciate it. If you're watching this later on, please do get involved in the comment section. I'll be back tomorrow morning on Patreon with Gonzo doing the player ratings. Oh, the raffle ends tonight at 8 o'clock. So if you want a signed Bowen shirt or a signed Pot shirt or to win Hamish Chat bundle, then do get involved. It's £1 a ticket. But thank you very much. I appreciate you joining me as always, and I will catch up with you tomorrow.